Daniels at the Boxers Trainers Channel. And I am really, really, really happy and excited to be here, especially to talk about the win over David Morrell last night of the Mexican Monster David Benavidez, right? And like, you know what I mean? I'm excited because for the last 2 weeks I have been bringing to you guys. Oh, shout out to D Mexican G, right? You heading me off at the pass, brother? Cause I told y'all, I I told y'all that David Benavidez was too much for David Morrell, right? I mean, it was kind of like no disrespect to nobody in the cast, but it was kind of like it's kind of like common sense analogy when it comes to boxing, right? The victor is always going to be the one who has told the pole longer than the person at the lower end of the boxing spectrum. And in this case, people, that happens to be David Benavidez on the upper end and David Morrell on the lower end, right? Because David Benavidez just totally annihilated. I mean, just walked right through David Morrell, right? It was like he wasn't even there, you know what I'm saying? And again, it goes to the notion that what I said, and I say today after the fight, that David Benavidez was way too experienced for David Morrell, and it all played out last night in the fight. Let me copy my man David Benavidez made. That is actually the topic that's on the thumbnail, right? That it was easy work for David Benavidez, and I'm totally, you know what I'm saying. I'm excited. I'm not so much for the loss for David Morrell because David Morrell is a good boxer. He's a darn good boxer, and he'll go further, especially after this loss, because he'll take his butt back in the gym, right, and perfect his craft like David Benavidez does. David Benavidez perfects his craft. Every time he gets in the ring, he goes right back to the lab and perfects his craft. That's what journeymen, that's what tenacious boxers do, right? They constantly and in revolving scheme of things revolve and work on their craft. You know what I mean? And me personally, as a boxer and as a coach, right, I can see every time David Benavidez gets in the ring and he takes on a challenge, right, I can see how he works to perfect his craft, right? You know what I mean? Certain things that, and I mean, this is like, you know, in like the sense that every time David Benavidez goes in the ring and the following week or months to follow the fight, right, I can tell that he has went back to the lab and perfected his craft, right? Because the mistakes that he may have made in the previous fight, right, he no longer makes a mistake. And I can definitely say, with all final fairness, that David Benavidez is going to be at the top of the food chain for a long time because he puts in the necessary work to be on top, right? And not to say that David Morrell is not futurely going to be a great boxer, right? But it hasn't taken place thus far, I'll say. Absolutely. High risk, low rewards, right? And absolutely. Shout out to Dave. Shout out to the Mexican G, right? Absolutely. High risk, low rewards, right? And David Benavidez proved to me, especially last night, because make no mistake about it, David Morrell was by no means a pushover. He was inexperienced, but he was by no means a pushover, right? And that came from the inside, from the heart, right? The cat, David Morrell. I mean, come on, man. He's a Cuban, right? And those people in Cuba live hard. You know what I mean? Not to say that he was reared up in Cuba, right? 'Cause I'm quite sure a lot of his lifespan has been in the states, right? But you can't forget where you came from, right? You walk around every day like wearing a badge of honor from where you came from, right? And that was one of the things that he said motivated him to fight to fight and beat David Benavidez, right? Because he wanted to prove to his country that he could come over here and do that, right? But um, he didn't actually get the memo in regards to the things that you have to do in order to knock down a king like David Benavidez, right? You got to work your tail off, man. And not saying he didn't work his tail off, but 11 fights versus 29 with 29 with David Benavidez, which is now 30 at the behest of the loss of David Morrell, right? I mean, let's be realistic, people. David Benavidez. You know what I'm saying? I don't want you to think that, say I'm a fanboy of David Benavidez, right? No, I'm a fanboy of boxing, right? When it comes to perfecting the crafts of a boxer or knowing what is the general dynamics of what he's working with in order to be at the top of the food chain in boxing, right? Now, that's what I'm talking about, right? That's how you get that greatness attached to your name, right? You work for that. You work for that, right? You get in the gym and you just sweat like a dog, right? That's what I'm telling this youngster I got, right? He kind of like complaining because his knee's starting to hurt, right? You know what I'm saying? And he don't understand that no pain, no damn gain. You know what I mean? That's it. That's all, right? And I came to the enlightenment of my insight and of self, and I told him this morning. I said, "Look, no pain, no gain." Right? So what I'm basically saying is, don't complain about the pain. Right? I mean, here it is. You 200 and what 15 pounds. You 5'11". Right? You know what I'm saying? And that's a relatively a lot to carry on your body. Right? So anytime you start doing what a boxer's doing, right? Especially newly to the game, right? You're gonna be like in a whole bunch of aches and pains, right? Because you shocking your body, right? Jumping that rope, you know what I mean? Shadow boxing. I mean, I was showing him how to throw the hook the excuse me the jab from the hip, right? You throw your hip from your right foot. You throw your man. I got some pains from just showing him how to throw a proper a jab, right? You know what I mean with your and your hip from your right foot. You throw it into you throw the jab. I don't care what you're doing, really. You gotta use your hip, right? That's where you get your right? And I was whatever, right? Throw your hip. If this kid, if this kid wants to be the type of, I ain't finna do no fighting. I ain't finna teach nobody how to, fight. Founder, right? No, no, right? Being hit and don't get hit, right? But you gotta. That means you got a puncher, a power your tail off to be in the chair because it's always take on just what that means. Yeah, like you put your body right, move right. You know what I'm saying? Off. It's just a flow like a thing. I mean, I think that in a position. Enough guts, enough strength, enough energy, right, to get in the ring. Particular style is the style that no, it doesn't put like butterfly. You in, and I think that that's what boxing is all about. For come to that particular style, those tools that you're being using all these years, right? Even before right, and that's you want to say attacking boxing skills necessary to and get man check per, perfecting his craft to any degree He attains that. And this is what I'm teaching this kid, right? I don't have time. Soak them up, learn. Oh, and that's my teacher relative to, especially if you're a boxer down. Try this myself. I know y'all been on the phone because I love to have the access to sport. Been on the phone because I love to have the access to sport. As about anybody talk about good time. What's up, gaming bro? How you doing? Open line of communication. I'm bro. To get on. Bro, what's up to the baby, bro? Especially the Mexico. What's up to the baby, bro? Especially the Mexico. You feel me? Continue to find. Now, and you, who Canelo train this child. At the train this child. At the day or night, the fact remains. So today or night, the fact remains. Saul Canelo Alvarez is where box's darn is. Going to the ring and do no ring and do no. Canelo Alvarez knows skillful boxer, and he being in a position. Okay, so that being said, y'all said sleep that they absolutely no respect basically. I get it. This, you know what I'm saying? This, you know what I'm saying? Contrary, this is about the fact. So came that and the tragic demise of David Morrell. May he have the many blessings, and this didn't show David Morrell no mercy at all. He went in and destroyed him, and that's what he got paid all those millions and millions of dollars to do. To see it. I've been saying for the last 2 or 3 weeks. David Morrell. And that's exactly what I'm weeks. So that being said, hit the subscription button about